made some mistakes along the way, but those are the ones that really like teach you the most valuable lessons.
Absolutely,
at the
they
end
do.
Of the day. When you almost go bankrupt, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I know what to not do.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So,
and I mean, real estate is not a stable flow of income. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Have a little bit of fun?
Yeah. All right.
Thank you for joining. You are in the vault with the Kate Broddick team, and I am your host, Kate Broddick, and I am excited to have Steve Zahnd from the Zahnd Team.
That's right.
With Real Brokerage.
Correct.
And how did we get here today? I had a reach out from your admin.
Yeah, Georgia would have reached out to you.
Great name. We're talking about lots of great names now. Right? So Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia reached out. Looking to get out and more in the public eye.
I love that.
Just trying my best,
Yeah. You know what? I actually really appreciate that because even hosting the podcast, we're in our third year.
Oh, wow.
Third year. This is our third year. So it'll be 28 episodes, I think it is. And you start to like wonder, like, who can we have on? Because I love showcasing different personalities.
Yeah.
And I find that if you get the same person over and over and over again, you get the same material regurgitated over and over and over again. So we have extreme personalities, a bit of controversy. Then we have the people who are like dialed into like metrics and systems. And then we get the people who are honestly just boots on the ground running, have formed great businesses based on referrals. And so it's exciting to have you here because we met originally when you asked me to join one of your events.
That's right. Yeah.
That was last year. Was that last year?
Yeah, that was November of 23. That's when I first started doing events.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like one of my first events I did.
Oh, very good. And it was a great turnout.
Yeah, it was like 125 realtors were there.
It's hard to get 125 realtors anywhere.
Yeah, no, I was pretty shocked, to be honest. Like I had a little trial event at my office and I had about 25, 30 people show up to that. I was like, okay, we learned some lessons and like, let's try to make it bigger. And then I flew in my business coach and 125 was cool.
I thought it was a great event. I thought it was a great turnout. And so let's start back at the beginning then, because when you were just in here, we were just talking with Stacey Pruer, who is our June guest. You will be our July guest.
Cool.
You said that this is something to do with your family. Like your family's in real estate. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, I got into real estate because of a family. Like in terms of like I needed to make an income.
Yeah.
So we were Pierce was on the way and I was unemployed. I wasn't doing very well at that time, and
that's okay.
I was going to go back to school. My broker convinced me because I did have my license at that time because my dad was in agricultural real estate, right? Okay. So I wasn't really into that part of the business.
Yeah, that's a hard business to get into.
Yeah,
it's very niche.
It is, absolutely. So kind of. I was going to go back to school to like get my accounting degree. And then Roy at the time was like, hey, like hire a business coach, take a chance on yourself. And then I put $500 on my credit card for my first business coach. I cracked 6 figures that year, which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
sure as hell beats going back to school.
Yeah. Like he kind of reverse engineered the math for me. He's like, so how much is it going to cost to go back? So I was like, oh, maybe like 15,000. How much money can you make right now? I was like 36. So like, okay, yeah, like 45, 50K. And he's like, and then when you get out, how much are you going to make? I was like, well, probably like 60. He's like, okay, so in 2 years, you made 10,000. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess so, right?
This doesn't look so great.
Yeah, when's your kid coming? not in 2 years, right? So, yeah, so that was fun. But,
and and how old is Pierce?
He's 14.
He's 14. That's your oldest boy.
Yeah. So August 2010 is the day I consider myself like the first day I truly took real estate seriously. And
wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then you're a dad of 3 children. We just talked about your kids' awesome names. Pierce, Kate, which I mean, obviously that's the best name.
Obviously.
And Harvey, which I love.
Thank you.
So they are 14, 11, and
9. Great memory.
9. Yeah. Wow. So you're in that like awesome parenthood stage.
Yeah.
Like they're fun beings at that age.
It is really cool. Like, I mean, it's been a journey and it's been amazing the whole time. And, they're both in baseball and Kate's in dance. And, we're actively on the road a lot.
Yeah.
And, I'm really grateful to have a phenomenal team so I can enjoy the family time. And,
absolutely.
And
my 2 oldest boys are actually in baseball. They just had their first practice last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're basketball and baseball family.
Oh, nice.
So the fall and winter is like hardcore at the basketball court. Mm-hmm. And then now it's baseball 2 days a week, Mondays and Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And I find that my children are actually 6, 8, and 11. So we're moving out of that, like, not baby stage, but a little more independence.
Yeah. Well, we're almost at the exact same time frame almost. Just a couple years, like years 6 to 9, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's a fun age.
Yeah.
They're like, I call them my best buddies and my chaos coordinators.
Yeah.
Like, your kids are fun.
Yeah. And Pierce still wants to hang out with me, which is cool. But like, that's great. I don't know how much longer that's going to last for, but yeah, Harvey, like he's still under 10, right? So he's really like still like the last one that's really like always wants to be with us. And
they think we're cool.
Still. Kate thinks I'm less cool now. She wants to hang with her friends more than us.
Oh, that's a girl thing. But you know what, though? Then they come back and...
Oh, great.
They always do, good, right? Yeah. Well, that's amazing. And so now let's dive in a little bit about who you are and what you're doing. So you said that August of 2010 was when you started to take real estate. Like, that's serious.
Yeah.
So that was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So take us on that journey here. You have a team now. Were you a solo agent to begin with?
Yeah, I actually started my career at Century 21. I was there for about 4 or 5 years. And then I built a team there. So like a couple residential people joined me. And actually, Blake and Nick, who are now my business partners, we actually started together at Century 21.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we've been together a very long time, which has been awesome. And then, from there, essentially, we went independent into our own brokerage. And I did that from 2015 to about 2022, 2023.
Yeah.
And then I jumped into Real Broker. Lots of ups and downs along the way, lots of lessons learned.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a journey.
It's a constantly evolving career.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And it's one that it has you scratching your head, like, am I making the right move? Am I around the right people? Am I growing at the pace that I want to grow, or do I even want to grow at all?
Right.
Right. I mean, being a team leader is a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, I made some mistakes along the way, almost faced like some severe financial consequences along the way, just making bad choices. But those are the ones that really like teach you the most valuable lessons.
Absolutely,
at the end of the day. When you almost go bankrupt, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I know what to not do.
Yeah,
yeah. Right. So,
and I mean, real estate is not a stable flow of income. I mean, we've seen that. We saw the wave of COVID where we thought, are we ever going to show homes, to, oh my goodness, do we have enough time to show homes?
Yeah, that was an interesting time.
Yeah, it was an interesting time. I would never want to go back to that, to be honest. I found that to be a lot of chaos and a lot of anxiety. But then the opposite to that happened directly afterward, where we saw the market go on a serious downward trajectory. And we had to now change our entire business models, change our spending, recoach our agents differently. And now I think we're coming into a time where we're seeing more stability, even though we're getting economic arrows thrown at us from every direction in 2025 when it comes to things like, tariffs and interest rates and elections. And I think all those things really do impact the real estate market.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think we're coming out of that. What do you think? Yeah,
like, I mean, I kind of see what we're going to be going into is like when I first started my career. It was a very stable, balanced market.
Yeah.
We had, negotiations going on, right? 30 days on market was a normal thing.
Yeah.
So like, I actually really enjoyed that market. It was a nice time because not only were our expertise as from marketing standpoint and positioning standpoint really taken valuably. And then from a buyer's perspective, you're not like forced into these interesting situations where you're like, the buyer has to kind of feel like they're forced into something that they might not want to be a part of, right? But, those are where we learn key lessons about, doing pre-offer inspections, right? So like making sure that we found ways to make sure our clients were protected through interesting times. And now it's obviously a little bit more, stable, or in terms of a balanced market. Well, actually, in my opinion, we're now in a buyer's market with a lot of inventory on the market. But, I think in about 4 months when the tariff deal hopefully gets done and we have, the new prime minister now has been elected. So that uncertainty's kind of cleared up. I mean, so probably in like 3 to 4 months, I do expect things to kind of like just be chill. We're not going to be like going crazy, like everyone's going multiple offers and going nuts, but I don't think it's going to be a total collapse either, like some people are saying.
I know. And you know what? The funny thing is that just because it shifts from something that was so extreme doesn't make it bad.
Right.
Like, we're having an exceptional May.
Yeah.
I found March and April to be a little bit, I would say, uncertain, because we had a lot of uncertainty
Hmm.
And now that whether you like or you don't like who got into the prime minister role, whether
Yeah.
you like or you don't like, the tariffs that are happening behind the scenes, whether you like or you don't like the state of our own economy, you have answers. And I
Hmm.
feel like people work better when they know versus looming questions about what's happening to our country.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, any market with uncertainty, the stock market, housing market, if
Yeah,
uncertainty exists, there's a lack of confidence. And if there's a lack of
absolutely.
confidence, then there's a lack of motion, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So, I mean, I think with certainty comes clarity, and clarity then creates decision making, and then it all kind of flows together. And at the end of the day, like now that you're operating that business, having 6 to 8 months of cash reserves on hand is always ideal, right? So you
Yes.
can float through those tough times. And when like Grant Cardone, if you're not first, you're last, and be obsessed or be average. Those are really good, two good books. But it's about you got to advance when people are retreating. Right now, there's a lot of fear and potential real estate agents that didn't set their business up properly, who are
Yes.
potentially now hitting that wall. And if you did set yourself up properly for these types of scenarios, you can advance and don't have to stop spending on your marketing. Actually, double down on it and advance when others retreat, and then you'll come out the other side with massive market gain share.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you didn't stop. You kept moving.
Well, yeah, we're doubling down right now. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't think this is gonna be ever like it doesn't stay as hot as it is, and it's never as bad as it's gonna be. So it's like we're just at different points of a cycle right now, and eventually the cycle is gonna balance itself out. And we're gonna enter a new normal market, and things are gonna happen again. So
Absolutely. And I'm
yeah.
seeing a little bit of that right now. I mean, I am primarily a listing agent, so I
Hmm.
don't work with as many buyers as maybe a buyer's agent does, but I have flipped the script a little bit over the last couple of months because I've had a lot of repeat clients.
Yeah.
And I always take my repeat clients on because we have that pre existing relationship, and I want to continue to build that trust. And especially in times like this where there is some uncertainty.
Yeah.
And I see the heaviness that they've been wearing for the last few months, not just maybe
Yeah.
with real estate, but just
Life.
life in
Yeah,
general.
yeah. I
Like
think
the
it's been
last
heavy for everybody
yeah,
lately.
it's like, holy God, remove this sandbags from
Yeah.
my
Oh my
back.
gosh.
But I see them kind of getting excited, and I
Yeah.
see them taking chances, and I see them moving themselves forward, or
Mhm.
even at least having the conversations, which there wasn't a lot of conversations happening a year ago.
No.
People were even afraid to even talk about that because whenever there's any kind of risk or adversity in market conditions, whether that be job, employment, finances, real estate, people would rather stand still than make a move and it error. And then all of a sudden they're in a position where they're financially not sound.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing a big shift in the market right now. I'm seeing people get out there and buy. I'm getting people go out there and make offers again.
Yep.
I'm not sure what it's like in your market because you guys primarily do around is it the Guelph?
Yeah.
Guelph area?
Guelph area. We have expansion partners in Toronto, Port Elgin, Listowel, Mount Forest.
Oh,
So like
goodness.
Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge. Like we're
Yeah.
everywhere. Yeah,
That's
we're
good, though.
everywhere. Yeah. So we have a really good residential stronghold in many markets, and agricultural real estate is always a little bit of a piece that's staying in the Zahnd Team name. So
Yeah.
that's where my dad's history is. He did he immigrated a lot of people from Switzerland over to Canada,
Yeah.
and helped them buy farms. So like that's always our website still ranks really well organically
Yeah,
for
good.
farms in Ontario. So yeah, we get some farm deals going that way. But sorry, I kind of like lost track of what
That's
we were talking
okay.
about.
That's okay.
Yeah.
What I actually wanted to get into, where I think I'm the one who pivoted us off into what's going on in the real estate market now, is you had these partners that you were with at Century 21 for 4 to 5 years. They're
Mhm.
still your business partners now. You went off on your own independently until about 2022, and then all of a sudden, this big blast of Real
Oh
came
yeah.
out,
Yeah, that's right.
right? So
Yeah,
now you're
absolutely.
part of Real Brokerage.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Like, 5 years ago, I had another business partner who went to EXP, and all my business coaches actually went to EXP as well.
Really?
And yeah, absolutely. And at that time, just based on what I knew about that model, it was like a multi-level marketing system, and
Yep.
I really want to steer clear at all costs from that.
Yep.
But my business coaches, Jay Kinder, Michael Reese, John Kitchens, and then they all flipped, and they were really going hardcore into it, and I just like kind of turned me off a bit.
Yep.
And then essentially we had another thing that we were working on. I was working on this technology company, so I was kind of focused on that, and I didn't really want to make the flip. So when I actually lost a few agents to an EXP competitor, it just really opened my eyes about like, hey, maybe my independent brokerage that I have isn't really offering people what they want, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't take ownership in my independent brokerage. It's not like how do we value
There's no
that, right?
shares
There's
there,
no
yeah.
shares. There's nothing like that. There's no revenue share. I didn't have that model or infrastructure set up. And then fortunately, I had the hindsight of 2020. Like I saw
Yeah.
how well the EXP model did for for my business coaches, for that partner that left. They did really well. And it's like, okay, well, am I just being kind of stuck in my ways, or should I be exploring this a little bit more deeply? Since I knew the EXP model really well, I saw it real and I was like, okay, wow, like this is a really good leadership foundation. Sharon has a great vision for the future. Chamir is a great CEO. They essentially took the model that EXP created and just like, okay, here, let's make that model better in what we think is better. And then, but also put a foundation of technology on that. So now it's like it's not even about the model really anymore. It's about being a platform of possibilities where you can plug into this thing and be able to essentially run your whole business from that platform, but then also be rewarded like an owner, like kind of thing where it's like, when I help the company grow, I get rewarded. If I perform as an agent, I get rewarded. And I really think the team members especially really like having that flexibility where they're just
Yeah.
not in my independent brokerage where I don't really offer any of that
Yeah.
stuff, right? So
Yeah, but and you know what? I've always respected other business models, whether I wanted to adopt them or not.
yeah,
I've had lots of people on here from Real.
I'm sure you did. Yeah.
I've had lots of people want to sit down and have coffee over the
Yeah.
different things that Real or EXP offer. One of the things that I enjoyed about the platform that they're running off of is not every person is a great salesperson. Some people are really great influencers. And if you can influence to grow in numbers,
Yeah.
you're rewarded.
Yeah.
And not everyone makes the same amount of money in commission sales, like boots on the ground running. They're not, transaction heavy, but that doesn't mean that they can't be a great leader.
That's right.
There is a difference there.
Absolutely.
I'm actually not a great recruiter.
Yeah.
And that is why I've stayed clear of these companies.
Absolutely.
Because for me, my business model is I would rather small and mighty than large. And I'm like lost in all these people. I would rather be very intimate one-on-one with my agents versus have this massive capacity of like downline of like 500 people.
Yeah.
And that to me would be incredibly overwhelming. And I don't want to talk to that many people in a
Right.
day. And I don't want to coach them.
My personality profile is similar to yours. So, no, yeah, it wasn't really about, for us, it wasn't about recruiting at the end of the day. Like, what we really saw the opportunity was being rewarded in the stock options. So like, when we got into Real, so that's why the hindsight was 2020. I saw where the EXP stock price went.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, well, Real's at $1.34 right now, like back then. So when we jumped in, and then we strategically hit elite agent status multiple times by sharing the deals between the partners and then making sure that all the deals went under my name first, and then Blake, and then Nick, and that allowed us to tap into the stock options.
Yeah.
So we got a ton of free shares, and now it's trading at I sold a bunch at $6, trading around $5. So we made a huge gain in the stock play on that. So it wasn't really about revenue share for us. It was about seizing the opportunity. But then when we got into it, it was like crazy, like how good it was, like from Sharon's training to his leadership, and then to like what they're doing with FinTrack and like integrating Real Wallet. So we went there for the opportunity, but then once you're in it, we realized how good it was on other levels. And I'm not really, I'm not a recruiter by any means, but some things that I do really well is I built a really strong operations team.
Yeah.
So the way I'm kind of approaching it, instead of a recruitment thing, I just want to build relationships of trust. So I kind of go up to people and it's like, hey, like I can help you with delegation. You want to offload admin work, you can stay at your brokerage, or you can join us at Real, or you can be integrated into my team. It really depends where you want to be, but you can start here and build trust. And it's not about like trying to get 2,000 or 5,000 people on my downline. It's like, hey, if I can build a community where we're helping each other out and succeed, lower our cost of operation, and essentially use economics of scale to help ourselves become more profitable, that's essentially what I'm trying to accomplish with the people that that I'm partnering with, whether it's at Real, at the team, or outside of the brokerage.
Yeah. And it's very smart. And that's, I think that's out of the box thinking, because it's not just an acute what's in front of you. Mm-hmm. It's a bigger picture.
I have to think out of the box because I'm not a good influencer or a recruiter, right? So, right.
I don't know that I am either, but I like I understand why people are gravitate towards it. And I've always given appreciation for the people who have that vision within Real and EXP. I think they're fantastically run. I think that there's going to be people who fall into that work really well with that platform. Yeah. I'm still kind of stuck in that like independent brokerage phase of, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that both of them serve a great purpose to different agents. For me, it's more about a little bit smaller, a little bit more one-on-one. And honestly, I think that my brain would explode if I had to start thinking about other things. Right. Maybe I just need someone to think it for me. Although I do have 4 fabulous women who work on my back end staff who really do think for me, but...
Well, that's a beautiful thing about real estate, though. There's so many different business models.
There is.
There's so many different ways we can do it. And you know what? It's not about who's right or who's wrong. It's all about just
what feels right.
What's right for you and your business. Yeah. And that's okay. Like, I mean, anyone that thinks that they know the perfect way and their way is the only way, I probably wouldn't want to talk to that person.
No, I mean, we have 6-figure earning agents from TikTok.
Right.
Not even from selling. Right. So, I mean, there's no one right way of doing it. It's whatever works well for you. And that's all still leadership. Yeah. It's paving your own path. And that is one of the things I love about this career is that you can take it on so many different angles and be very successful.
Absolutely, yeah.
So now back to your team. So how many people do you have on your team now? On not in Real as in like the downlines and stuff, but just like the people that you work with every day.
Yeah, we got 14 incredible agents. That includes Blake, Nick, and I as partners. And then we have 7 people that are on our overseas staff that help, serve other teams as well for, offloading their operational workload. And then I have 2 incredible in-house people, Georgia, and then Tanner, who's our fractional CMO. So yeah, we have a really great team. It's been a journey to put it together to where it is now, but like probably have the strongest team I've ever had. But it took took a long time to like, do a lot of the things wrong. Yeah. Make sure that I'm really finding the sweet spot for the value proposition. Yeah. Making sure that the team always feels like we're serving them more than, we're going to give them more than they'll ever have to give us in terms of an exchange. So it's really important to find that like balance of exchange and value and making sure that everyone's winning at the same time. Yeah.
And so how are you finding that now? Because I mean, I think any team leader who's been doing this for 10 plus years, this is my 13th year in real estate. It's 10 years running the team. Mm-hmm. There has always been bumps and I'd say mistakes and major mistakes and more major mistakes made along the way. And then finally you like come to this clearing and it's like, should it feel this easy?
Right.
Because like what's wrong? I similarly feel the same. We have a great staff. So I have 16 agents, including myself, 1 full-time licensed assistant, and 3 back-of-end staff. Nice. And I find that it's about the personalities. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you feel the same.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, you can't just bring anyone in. Like, I mean, I've said no to more people in the last 12 months than I've ever have in my career. And I think it's because we know now, like, the wrong personality and the wrong fit when it's just going to be poison pill for the
Absolutely.
Team. And I mean, that's why I like the business model I'm in. I can serve you where you're at, or I can integrate you into the Real platform and serve you there. Or we can integrate fully into the team, but that's a special place.
That is a special place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so what made you realize that, though? Because I know myself, and speaking from experience, at first I was like, this person would be great. They sell. Yeah. That in a team environment, that doesn't always work.
No.
I would rather have someone who doesn't sell a lot, but I know that they have the potential, but they have the personality and the values, I'm going to say, the values to mesh well, get along, be collaborative, and really contribute to the culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
That to me is a big thing with any team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, for teams that care about having a good work environment, not everyone's like that, right? So
no, it's a numbers game for a lot of people because we know that only 20% of agents are probably going to produce. So the more people you have, the more likelihood you are of making that income.
Yeah.
But then you're going to be living a really hard life.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, you said something really important, which was values, like having your core values and having those articulated. is really important because that's your decision-making filter of how you can bring people in.
Yeah.
You know, and then at the end of the day as well, it's, you know, we have a saying on our wall, you know, do what you'll say you're going to do, sometimes more, never less. And that's
Oh,
a
I like
quote.
that.
Yeah, we got that from Floyd Wakeman when I coached with him and Doug Thompson. It's just about having it's you're a person of integrity, right? You're just going to
Yeah.
do what you say you're going to do, right?
Yeah.
And essentially, one thing, it was a big core value back in our day, was 100-0, taking 100% responsibility, not being an
Yeah.
excuse maker.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, when you bring people in, if you have a really good high performing team and we're taking accountability and we're not making excuses and like we're finding ways that we can be better, and then you bring someone in that's completely opposite of that and they want to like blame everyone else for their result and like always point outwards versus looking inwards.
Yes.
I don't think that's a good person to have on the team.
No, and it spreads like disease.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
Because
that attitude definitely grows.
There's not a question, and then you get to people start to think, well, like, I'm not getting my results. Is it really my fault? Because people, I think inherently they don't mean to, but it's easier to point the finger than it is to point the finger inward and say, where do I have to change? Change is hard, right? Especially if you've been doing the same thing over and over again. That's the hard thing about being a team leader, but it is also a beautiful position because you get to grow and mold people. You get to see people succeed. You get to see them reach potential.
Yeah.
Are you still selling?
I sell with, and yeah, just to close the loop on that. Yeah, growth, I mean, is hard, right? Because it takes self-reflection and sometimes admitting that you are the problem.
Yeah,
and that's an obstacle for a lot of people. Ryan Holiday's book, The Obstacles Away, phenomenal book about just like finding those challenges in your life and then using those as opportunities for growth, not as an opportunity to make an excuse, right? But getting to the question of do I still sell? I definitely still serve the clients that specifically want to request me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely do that. Any chance I do get, though, I try to offload that to the team member. The reason being is because I am really actively engaged in the operation of the company, and you know, finding the right people to bring into the team. So I'm all about finding that and then coaching still. I deliver some, you know, do one-on-one coaching once in a while. Obviously, my phone's always available for the team member, but since I'm not 100% actively selling every day, I'm almost telling my clients, like, look, you know, they're going to do a better job than I am. I'm not in it like they are right now.
Yeah.
So yes, you can get me, but you know, my team is probably the right person to help you. And some people get that, and some people just really just want to work with me, which is okay. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a relationship, right? And sometimes it's less about who's going to do the better job and who do you trust more. Not that they don't trust your team, but And when did you step out of the selling as much?
Well, I've been stepping in and out of it for a while, right? Because like, I mean,
The hokey pokey.
right? I mean,
yeah.
When do you, right? Like, I mean, you know, I think that's where you learn your lessons, right? You push yourself out of your comfort zone, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go all in on this, and then, you know, Blake and Nick are obviously, you know, there to support that decision of like, okay, you know, we're gonna get sales going, but then you have you know, a tough year potentially, and you might have to go back, or you made a mistake when you jumped out of sales, maybe jumped out too early, or you know, did some things not the right way, so it kind of forces you back. But again, those are your opportunities to take a step back, so hopefully you can take 2 steps forward. And, like after that, right?
Yeah, so. And we've also come out of a really unprecedented time in real estate in our careers.
Yeah, well, in the last 5 years alone, I mean,
I feel like I have been doing the hokey pokey.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. It's like you had COVID, you had, you know,
sales went up, sales went down. The reason why I ask this, and I'm always so interested to know what team leaders do, because in 2021, I had a 5-year goal plan of stepping out of sales. Yeah. And so 2021 was one of the largest years in real estate in Canadian history.
Right.
So it was my highest year transacting. I did 228 personal deals myself.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. It was nuts. Yeah. And then my next year in 2022, the goal was to completely step out of buying. Yeah. Which I pretty much did. Yeah. I think I only had about 5% of purchases that year. And my goal was then the following year in 2023 was to do 50% of the transactions. Yeah. It was easy to do 50% of the transactions because the market went all the way down. Yeah. And then, of course, you know, you're, as a team leader, you have financial responsibilities for your team. You have your staff, you've got your overhead, your marketing. And so I also had to realign myself and say, is this the appropriate time for me to step out of sales?
Right.
And my answer was no.
Right. Right.
I was like, now I got to go full tilt.
Yeah.
But my goal eventually is, my end goal isn't always to be the seller that I am now. But I think that I said that because I think that was what was right. If I really look into the next 10 years, I would say I'm 42 now, although some days I might tell you I'm 27.
I'm 41 now. So
yeah, I'm 42
I
now.
feel like that, yeah.
I think by 50.
Yeah.
Ugh. That's so gross.
I know, it's crazy, honestly.
I don't know what happens. I know. I was in my 20s when I got licensed.
Yeah, same.
That just went so fast. So in my 50s, when I'm 50, I would like to be completely out of sales, and I would be liking to run a business.
Yeah.
And that's where my goal is now. I'm not putting pressure on the year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. I'm out. I'm just going to flow with it. I think we need to have a bit more of a balanced market. And I think I need to be in a better position to coach my team.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen organically when and you're going to know when the time's right. Like, and you're probably not going to time it 100%. But I mean,
but don't you love sales?
I like building things a lot. Yeah. So
you're a guy.
Yeah.
Guys they're like, look at my wall.
Yeah, I know.
I did that.
Like, I mean, it's just about how I like building things that help people be more productive and are able to like one of the big things that we built was our essentially I call it our value articulation system, which is our presentation that essentially guides a client through exactly how we're going to help them, so they know exactly what they're going to get and how we're going to guarantee a 5-star experience. So then, it was Blake, Nick, and I. We were sitting down in one of our strategy sessions, like, hey, because we just came out of a Darren Hardy high performance forum where he actually was in real estate back in the day too, and he had like 100% commission back guarantee.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, if I don't deliver for you, I'm gonna give you 100% of the commission back. And then we kind of asked ourselves, would we be willing to do this with our current state of how we operate?
Yeah.
And the answer was no. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay,
I'd have no money.
Yeah. It's like, so how do we get there? And then it was about an 18-month process where we built our, we thought about every single step of the way of how we do things. And then that has now become a cornerstone of our business. And that's been pretty
Is this
cool.
part of your listing presentation as well?
Yeah. So we have a listing presentation, a buyer presentation, and then I call it a buy sell, which essentially integrates the two systems because it's a bit more of a project planning
of course.
Scenario. And then like there's like financial worksheets that we like. So I like building these kinds of things.
You're a raft builder.
Yeah. Just because then, we have a really strong commission average at our firm, so it's great. We really value doing a great job, which I'm sure most people do. But it's all about, if you can't articulate the value, it's really hard to, secure what you're worth.
Yeah.
Because if the client doesn't believe, like, there's ever a question of price, then it's just because you didn't articulate why you're worth something.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And actually, one of the things I remember from the question and answer from your event that you had was the questions that you actually ask your sellers. And I remember everyone like looking around, everyone was like jotting it down because usually in a listing meeting, you expect the client to ask the questions to the realtor about like, how do you plan on, what's your marketing strategies? What are the services that I can expect from you when, if we hire you? But you actually had questions that you asked.
Yeah, they don't really ask us a lot of questions actually, because we do all the question asking, and also asking questions puts you in a position of control.
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
situation. Just see, you're doing the podcast, you're asking me questions, right? You're in control in the environment.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
At the end of the day, it's just like getting super curious about what their goals are, and then what I like to do is I'll ask them questions that most people will find uncomfortable. I'll ask them about their financial situation, what their monthly target is in terms of a payment. If there's any debt to pay off, if they know about penalties and stuff like that, because then I'll uncover a lot of things that they weren't thinking about. And then it's like, oh, this person, like, just by through the questions we're asking, this person knows what he's talking about, right? Yep. And then when we go there, we don't wait for them to ask us what our marketing plan is. We're like, hey, this is the map, this is the journey. And then this is how we help guide you through every step of the process to make sure you get the best result. And then we end off with a financial game plan that shows them their net numbers or what their monthly payment's going to be. And just like, hey, does this work for you? And the answer is usually yes. Because we planned it. And it's like, then we just take the natural next step. We're not really ever talking about commission or can you lower your rate? Because like everything was baked into that financial worksheet. So as long as they're feeling like everything is good and we're taking care of them and the numbers work and our numbers are baked into that, then the natural next step is just to work together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patrick Lencioni was actually a huge, the book is actually called Getting Naked from Patrick Lencioni. And it's all about just like, leading with service first.
Yeah.
And then just through that act of service, then the relationship just naturally progresses.
And what I loved about that is that you're giving your clients a platform to actually be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're asking questions, they have an opportunity to voice their opinions, their experiences, and you're digging down into deeper. So we do this with my team as well, is don't get to a meeting and just regurgitate a listing presentation. No. You need to get down into the more serious and uncomfortable things. Is their why?
Yeah. Absolutely.
What is driving them? Why are they moving? What is their goals? Mm-hmm. What is the end result? Because nobody really, if you think about it, people don't just say, you know what, I just want to move because moving is fun and I love packing up my house and I can't wait to do all of this
those
work.
are always the best things to do,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That's the most fun.
Every time I think about moving, I'm like, I'm going to die in these walls. I don't want to do that at all.
It's not fun.
It's not.
No, it's not
so
fun.
it's setting up the client to be vulnerable with you.
Mm-hmm.
To build trust, because when they divulge information that's a little uncomfortable, a little bit more personal, and they build that relationship, what you don't realize is you're really getting to the root of their why.
Mm-hmm.
And their why is what's going to drive them, whether it's financial, personal reasons, maybe it's divorce, maybe it's death, maybe it's finances. Those are really critical pieces of information that we as realtors need to better advise them.
Yep.
And that's 100%. What we're supposed to be, is advisors.
And that's why we call ourselves the real estate, like Zahnd Team real estate advisors, because that's what we want to be, right? We want to be that advisor. And you're 100% right. Like, I mean, Nick says the quote better than I do. They don't care what you know until they know that you care. I think that's how to say it.
That's a good one.
I think actually I nailed it.
You did nail it.
Yeah, but it's just like, that's, getting curious and actually understanding why they want to do something. And then now they feel like you're a partner in their journey, because that's what we want to be ultimately.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's a team sport.
Yeah. And I mean, when that hard decision comes, that might come, maybe it's super easy process and everyone gets exactly what they want and everything works perfectly, which does happen sometimes. Yeah. But sometimes you have to have hard conversations.
Absolutely.
And if you don't know the why and they're confused about the why, you've just done a disservice not only like to your client, because now you wasted a lot of their time. Like you got their house ready for sale, they're staging it, they're getting kicked out to look at when people are looking at their house, and then you as a realtor, you invested money, time, and energy into this thing, and then you find that you hit a bottleneck or a roadblock, and you didn't understand, and no one actually understood the real reason why you wanted to move forward, and now you just wasted everyone's time.
That's right, and a lot of resources.
Yeah, and that's not cool.
No, it's not, and it's not good for anyone. It's also not good for the relationship.
Absolutely not.
Because maybe in a couple years' time, when they've really aligned themselves with the reason why they want to move, you may not be their call.
Right.
Because you didn't get the job done, but it's not because you couldn't. It's because you didn't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big thing for our team as well, is really getting down into the root of the relationship. Real estate is not just about selling homes. It's about changing people's lifestyles. It's about helping them out financially. It's about moving them the needle forward in the next journey of their life.
Yeah.
And so if you just treat it as, this is a house, this is a product that I've got to sell.
Yeah.
It's not going to serve you, especially in this market.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
I mean, on average right now, I would say that about 70% of our listings are selling.
Right.
We're not in COVID anymore where 100% of your listings are selling.
No, yeah.
It didn't matter what they were. Now it's about 70%. So you have an opportunity to be better for that 30% gap that's not selling. Well, why aren't they selling? Was it a change of, maybe they didn't get the price they wanted? Well, maybe the expectation wasn't set. Right? Maybe because if you know your marketing is good, you know that you care about the clients, but it's not translating to the sale. Well, what was the problem?
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially like yourself, you're a phenomenal marketer, and we pride ourselves with being great marketers too. If you get 100,000 people and almost every single buyer that's a potential buyer is looking at your property and they're saying no, then we probably have a positioning issue. Right?
Yeah.
So it's that's probably what it is.
I
right?
really like it. You're not the only person who said that. I can't remember who else said that. It's about a positioning issue. Instead of saying a pricing issue, it's your position within the market.
100%.
We're not putting it under the right eyes.
Right, absolutely. Well, I mean, again, if every single person possibly saw it, and we're driving hundreds of thousands of eyeballs to this thing, and the answer is still no, what else could it be?
Yeah,
right?
there's usually only one reason.
And I mean, not everyone has an opportunity like our builders, like to repackage a product, which just recently we repackaged a single-family detached home into a legal duplex, just to make the price per square foot make more sense.
Yep.
And now we're going to be serving more of that multi-generational family, right? And not everyone has that opportunity, right? So that builder and us are now able to reposition that product to hopefully speak to the buyers better. But a home seller that is just looking to move to upgrade to their next home or downsize to the next home, they might not just be able to like, okay, I'm just going to reproductize my house.
It's like, I'm just going to make it a duplex. It's totally fine. I have all the money in the world to do this and the time.
Right,
And you're right. And it is repositioning yourself to make sure that you're putting it in front of the right audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I agree with that. And I have a quick question for you, because I'm always so interested when I sit down with team leads, only because I'm one myself, and we do something one way doesn't make it right or wrong.
Right.
Do you have certain specialists for buyers and sellers? Like, do you have agents who only do listings and only do buyers?
So that was one of the things about the team that we really wanted to make sure we weren't pigeonholing anyone into a specific role. And I totally get that some teams work that way, because you do have like a master lister and like someone that's phenomenal buyers. And definitely I'm not against them choosing that role for themselves. But I think sometimes with the agents we're working with, because we bring a lot of new agents into the business, it's like they might need to discover their path first, and then they might become a mega listing rock star, or like just love working with buyers only. So I really like them to discover that for themselves. But the part of the deal is that you have to learn our system.
Yeah.
Right.
For
So
each one.
if you can deliver a 5-star real estate experience on the buy side and on the sell side, and you're following our proven system to make that happen, okay, then let's help you find your passion. But like for me, like I don't have my face on anything. It's not about me. And I've already said this like to the partners or to anyone that we're looking to grow and expand with. It's, if push came to shove and we needed to rebrand, I'm totally fine letting that go. It's not about that for me, right? So it's about trying to build something bigger than ourselves. And like, I'd rather own a small slice of something really special than 100% of nothing. Right. So,
yeah. And I actually agree with you. So when and once again, I think you go along the path as a team leader of, okay, like, is this working? Is this not working? I'm also a big believer that, an agent should be able to choose their path.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that there is a lot of integrity with an agent who walks a family through the process of both buying and selling, rather than handing them off to somebody else just because you're not deemed a buyer's agent or a listing agent. I think it's about the relationship. And I think if they can walk them through with a system that is going to service the client at the highest level, then there should not be a title of buyer's agent and listing agent.
And hey, if you get to that level where you have that option to be like, I only want to work with buyers,
Absolutely.
and I only want to work, okay, more power to you. But like, I really do think people do need to experience both sides of the fence, because that's the way you get experience and how you can advise your client more effectively. And it's one of the reasons why I did my mortgage license when I first got into the business, and I did that for about 3 years. And now obviously my focus was on real estate. But that foundational financial background and actually having experience of doing mortgages and helping people through that process, it was like, it just gave me more financial edge and more financial competency to talk to my clients with. So that it just really serves you to like just get super informed about what's going on in the market, financial products, and obviously your real estate process to help guide your client. Yeah.
And I also think it allows you to build a more dynamic career.
Yeah.
Right. And that to me is, and case in point, it was, I'm the primary listing agent, and in 2024, listings were like not the holy grail of real estate.
Right.
It allowed me the opportunity to pivot into selling more buyers, like, right, showing more homes. And I think from, an agent's perspective, if they have a passion, and maybe listings or buyers are their passion, but the market's swung in a different direction, if they have those systems and they have that dynamic edge to be able to switch into more of a buyer's role or a seller's or a listing role, then their career becomes more dynamic.
You can roll with the punches.
And we've had to roll with, I don't know about you, but my chin is really sore.
Absolutely.
We've been taking it for the last 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, like you said, like it's finally showing some life. Like January, February weren't that great. April was pretty good for us. May's started off well, and but you never know. Like that's why it's so important when, if you are building that business, you have to build that financial runway, just to be able to continue to operate when things get tough, right?
Yeah.
So don't go buy the Range Rover the first commission check you get, right? Like, be strategic, right?
And we've all had to pivot like that.
Yeah.
I know I have. Like, I mean, if you've got your marketing budget set to 2021 income,
Yeah.
you better be pivoting in
Yeah, that's
2023
right.
and
Yeah.
2024
Right.
and having those reserves. I really appreciated you saying that. I think with agents, when it's the going is going, it's like, oh yeah, like I'm like, life is good, deals are happening.
Yeah.
And then when that hit hard, I feel like we woke up in 2022.
Yeah.
And things changed really quickly. And that income wasn't coming in the way that it was. And there was a lot more nurturing and a lot more time between transactions being completed. And so I think as new agents that are coming into this business, you really have to manage your finances to plan for the harder times.
Yeah. When I was doing events last year, like my most popular one, I did about 12 or 13 events. About 400 realtors came through my stuff, which was fun. But the financial mastery one was the most popular, where I actually taught them how to like build financial systems. I don't know how many people are actually still using it or not, but they felt like they really learned a lot, which is great. But these are the kind of systems that my third business coach, John, he's like, hey, how much money do you have left until you're out? I was like, I don't know. Like, well, what's your monthly burn rate? I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, find out.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
important.
find that out, and then figure out how much money you have in the bank, and then that's going to show you how many months of core capital you have before you're at a runway, right? If you're trying to take a plane off and you don't have enough runway, you're going to just fall off the other side, right?
Yeah.
So him introducing me to that concept, like, because I was in my third year real estate, money was coming in, money was going out. I was like, everything was under one bank account, and I wasn't really like managing that properly. It was super stressful. Like I was under extreme stress all the time. And because I had no clarity, and with clarity comes confidence, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So what's on the horizon here? So are you constantly recruiting? I know you said there's a difference. This is the team line is special. So to be on the actual Zahnd team is different than to be part of the real brokerage where you still assist with admin stuff or coaching. What do you see for the next year?
Yeah,
what do you see in 2025?
Ideally what we're doing is we're just finding the right people is more important to me than just finding numbers. So
Good.
yeah, like at the end of the day, I have met with a lot of people, and essentially what we're talking about is just like getting curious about their business, and then how I can help support that, whether that's through our lead gen system that we have, or through delegation mastery, or potentially they need a full integration where they are not worrying about paying bills, or they just want to focus on serving their clients, so they don't have to like, oh, I have to pay my follow-up boss this month. Oh, I have to pay, Sally this month, or like whoever, right?
Stager, marketing,
exactly,
CRM,
all that management. It's a lot of things to juggle, and most people signed up because they want to help people buy and sell their next home, right? So I'm just really getting super curious, just like I do with our clients that buy and sell real estate with us. It's like just get super curious where everyone's at. And see, how we can serve them. Right?
Yeah. And I think one of the things that agents need to understand when they're coming onto a team is if you are looking to have someone do all of the departments for you, because there really are a lot of departments in a single real estate transaction. You've got your administrative, you've got your marketing, you've got your follow-up, you've got your CRM, you've got your inside sales. The list could go on. You could break it down into however many departments that you work from. If you were to remove all of that from an agent and their only thing that they have to do is sell houses, obviously we want them to be educated in like contract negotiation, stuff like that. Like
that's table stakes.
That's right. Like we have a baseline knowledge here, but if we could remove all of the business aspects and you solely focus on the sales, what would that be worth to you?
Exactly. Yeah. It's pretty insane when you put it that way, right? And like I think a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their minds
conceptualizing
around
it. Yeah, but if you did not have to worry about the 1-year anniversary cards, you did not have to worry about keeping up to date with them in your CRM, if you didn't have to worry about the social media, if you didn't have to worry about all of the boosted posts that you do, if you don't have to worry about the marketing, if you don't have to worry about the follow-up on all of the showings that are happening, if you didn't have to be that mediator or that concierge that we have like Victoria at the front, that in between with your clients, if all you had to do was sell their house, what would that be worth?
I'm sure it's worth a ton to different varying people, but like at the end of the day as well, what you said, there's some things that people love to do that you don't want to take that from them. Like some people love writing the anniversary cards or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Which is great. That's not me. But I'll just be honest. But it's just like, yeah, like where can I serve you, and what would you like me to get off your plate? Because what do you ultimately want to be doing? Do you want to be spending your nights doing paperwork, or do you want to go spend time with your family?
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
You just hit
exactly.
it right on the
Yeah,
head. What is it worth to you?
exactly. Yeah, it's
So to me, like a 45% split, but you don't have to do any of that, but you also get dinners with your family.
hmm
You get to bath time with your kids. You get to be at the hockey arena or the baseball diamond, or you get to go on your family vacation.
yeah,
What is it worth to you?
yeah,
Because if you want to transact, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say 25 deals,
hmm
just 25 deals in a year. So you're averaging just over 2 deals per month. But you also had to be the customer care and
hmm
concierge, the director of communications, the social media expert, the inside sales agent. You
yeah,
had to be all of those things.
hmm
What is it worth to you?
yeah.
So to me, it's always comes down to what is bigger than just real estate.
And it's also about articulating that value, right? Because if people don't feel like that value is articulated, then
It falls on
yeah,
them.
it's just, oh, man, what's the quote I'm trying to bring up? It's in if there's a lack of value, then no, I'm gonna butcher it, so don't even worry about it. We'll forget about it. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, we have to meet people with where they're at, and I mean, yeah, some people like to take on more stuff, and some people don't. But yeah, I'll definitely trade some money to get my time back, absolutely.
Yeah,
And some people aren't willing to make that decision, which is totally fine. That's up to them.
100%.
And all the best to them. And we put in those hours where I remember driving to Kitchener to Century 21, being the first one in the office before 8 a.m. And then, going all my appointments, doing everything I had to do. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to do my next marketing thing. And then, I was just doing everything I possibly could, leaving that office around 11:30 midnight to get home, just do it all over. Then, like, I didn't really get to spend a ton of time with Pierce in the first couple of years.
Yep.
And it's just like, man, is that a sacrifice I want to continue making all the time? So then it's like, well, okay, now I got to hire someone, and that was a gong show, right? And
Oh,
then
yeah.
and then it's like, okay, now I have to like interview people and put ads out, and then I hire someone, and then it didn't work out, and like actually, I let someone go. It was my first person I ever hired, and then I didn't bring a witness, and then they said I fired them for age discrimination, and so then they sued the brokerage. Right. So it's like, as an independent agent, like, you want to have to go through all these things
You do.
and these pains, or you just want to like, hey, we have our systems figured out. We've already went through all that. Like you
Yeah.
did, I did. It's like, why not just partner with someone so you can focus on what actually matters, which is making revenue, helping people, and then essentially creating the revenue so you can go, get your kids that baseball season, or, take your family on a trip or whatever. Right. So, um, yeah, freedom does sometimes have to be an investment.
Freedom is an investment. And I think that you go through a period where you're like, I can do it all myself. I can do it all myself. And then suddenly one day you wake up and your kids are 3, 5, and 8.
Yep.
And you're like, you know what? It's not worth it to me anymore. So
Yeah.
that's what I always say to agents. What is it worth to you to not
Mhm.
have to do all of this?
Thanks for asking me directly that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the hard answer to that, I guess, but we make a significant investment. So I think Blake, Nick, and I are operating around 50-50. We're probably funding the business 50% of all the revenue that we're getting in, so we can have freedom.
Because it's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
Yeah.
So, last question, what's on the horizon for the Zahnd team in 2025? Do we have anything big news coming up? Do we have any new recruits? Are we super jacked about something with Real Brokerage?
No, I'm a pretty simple person. Like, what I'm super excited about is I've been rolling out the delegation mastery and the home value hub, and that's a big play for us right now. So essentially what we're doing is like just putting these tools in front of people, and then finding out how they want to be served, whether it's at their brokerage, at Real Broker, or just, hey, I don't have to pay for these tools unless I do a deal. We'll
Yeah.
integrate at the Zahnd team. So it's just like, hey, let me find people that we can serve, help them out, and then they choose how they want to get integrated. And then obviously anytime they do integrate at Real, we do give them a discount, obviously. But no, I'm just super excited for the future of where we're going, because I think we're finally at that point where we have some really incredible traction, and
Yeah.
we really finally have figured out how to serve people at a higher level that we've never had before, right? So
That's amazing.
yeah, super excited to see what happens, and I'm not going to put what do I want to say? I'm not going to put a direct target on what we're going to look like in about a year, but I think it's going to be growth.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so where would people find you? If they're super interested in the Zahnd team or what you're doing, or maybe they're an agent, maybe they're looking to make a switch, maybe they're looking just to align themselves with professional colleagues, where would they find you?
Yeah, Instagram is great. I mean, I love my DMs, so it's like if I find me on Instagram, I did get hacked, so find the right one. So I have a smaller following than I used to. But I've been trying to build it back up.
Yeah,
but,
let me tell you.
It's good though.
And so it's Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, mostly just Instagram. I'm never on Facebook.
I
to
mean,
be honest.
but it's too sweet. It just instantly posts, because I am also not.
No.
Although I find that the Facebook is really good for like that 45 plus.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that that's actually a different market. They're more Facebookers.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I definitely just I try to stay personally off social as much as I can, unless it's a direct message. That's why George is phenomenal. She does all my postings for me.
I love
that. But yeah, Instagram, or just email me, or just Google. Honestly,
your website?
Just Google Steve Zahnd or Zahnd Team, and you'll find us.
Amazing.
No
Well, you are July's episode, so
Great.
I'm really excited to bring that one out. And if anyone wants to listen, we are on Apple Podcast, YouTube, and Spotify. If you want some homes in the Guelph, what's the other regions?
There's
Kitchener,
a lot.
Waterloo, all the other regions.
Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, whatever. Just you can call us.
Yeah, and
we're not in Simcoe though, so
we're not.
No, we're not in Simcoe. Yeah.
We're not territorial around here. So, and you probably get stuck behind tractors trying to get here.
That's right.
But thank you again for coming. It's
You're
honestly
welcome.
been a pleasure, and we'll be excited to release this in July.
Cool. Thanks.